Hello YouTube, I'm here to share with you some ideas that I have for parents and professionals working with children and young people who want to help them increase their concentration skills. Now, concentration skills, for me, I believe are a slightly delicate subject area. Let me explain why. Sometimes I have well-meaning parents who bring their children to see me because they want their children to concentrate better, particularly on the academic areas of their lives. Now, the truth is, there are some children who just don't enjoy the academic side of life. Be that the core curriculum subjects or the framework of school and what school has to offer and the boundaries that they're confined to there. It just doesn't suit some people. For some people, they are great with art, they're brilliant with music, they love sport, they've got other areas that are of interest to them in their lives. Maybe they're just really good socially. Some of those kids that have great social skills are some of the ones that appear to have the biggest concentration problems because they're always talking when they're in class. So I think we need to be realistic here and we need to get the balance right. An important question to ask yourselves, and something that I ask the parents of these children, is what would you rather? Would you rather have an A-star student who is fantastic in as many subject areas as possible, but who maybe has very low self-esteem or lacks self-belief or just isn't very happy in their lives? Or would you rather have a grounded, happy, sociable individual who gets B's and C's? Unfortunately, sometimes that is the choice that we need to keep in mind. We've got to be realistic, not just about what it is that they're able to achieve, but who it is that we're asking them to become as people. We need to think about what's really important here. Now, obviously, I'm biased because I work in the area of mental health and well-being, but to my mind, it makes sense that we would rather have happy, balanced young people than have A-star students. And let's face it, the world's made up of tons of different people. There are plenty of people who are not doing A-star jobs on a day-to-day basis. And the world needs those people because those are the people that support us and underpin the framework of our society. So, of course, I accept that parents and teachers and other professionals really want their students and their children to do the very best that they can. But we don't want that to be to forfeit their mental health, their well-being, and their enjoyment of things like school, college, and university, and so on. So here's what we can do in order to get the very best from them and to ensure that they concentrate as much as they possibly can. Now, there is one thing that typically when I'm working with parents and with teachers, and other professionals, that I like to really focus on because I believe this makes the world of difference. And that is, when we are working with them, when we're teaching those young people, we have to give them the reason why what we are doing is important to them. Just think about it. If you know why you need to do the thing that you're being asked to do, then it makes it far more appealing. It makes more sense for you to actually do it. If you're just doing it because it's what you have to do, it's what you're being told to do, that's where we're going to get some resistance coming in, or some lack of engagement or lack of motivation to show any kind of interest. We have to give them a reason why, and the reason why has to be relevant to them. Okay, so not relevant to the curriculum, not relevant to passing their exams, not necessarily relevant to their future, because remember, children aren't living in the future. That's what adults do. We're always thinking about, what next? But children are living in the moment of now. So we have to give them the big fat reason why what we're asking them to learn, memorize, do, study, is relevant to them in the now. Now, that's a tricky thing to do because if you've got a particular subject area that you really need to focus in on, and you have to then make it relevant to a 13-year-old who enjoys watching YouTube, then actually, sometimes these things don't appear to quite marry up. It's your job to be creative and to start thinking about how to make that happen. How can I make this relevant to this young people in their life right now? A further build on that idea, that suggestion, is to actually engage them more in the planning process around what it is they're going to be learning later on. Because where we can get creative and start thinking about, okay, so why is Pythagoras' theorem relevant to my 13-year-old? How can I make that relevant to them, as well as thinking that for them and doing our very best to make it appealing to them, we can also start to get them engaged with figuring out their own reasons why. If we can get them to come up with reasons for themselves as to why this subject area is relevant to them, then that's going to be even more appealing than having us tell them. So the big fat reason why is going to be our key to getting their engagement and keeping them concentrating. Now, on a day-to-day basis, there are other smaller practical things that you can do to help them to concentrate at their best. Sometimes we just need to look at physical, practical things that are going on around them. Is the room too hot? Is it too stuffy? Do we need to get some oxygen in there? Are they thirsty? Are they hungry? That's a big one. Are they distracted by someone else? If they've got other people next to them, are they distracted by stuff that's going on inside of their own head? Are they so busy thinking about something that they're worried about, or the homework that they didn't do yesterday and the scary teacher that they've got to tell about that it's causing them to not fully engage in what it is that they're supposed to be doing right now? Is it simply a case of they want to move on to better things? There are other more enjoyable things they want to be doing with their time. This is a classic one around the homework scenario. Very often they come home from school and they're exhausted, and we were asking them to do some more work, but what they really want to do is veg out and watch TV or something along those lines. Now, again, I have my own personal beliefs around homework. I remember doing it and not enjoying it very much. But here's the thing with it. If you've ever had the experience of going into a brand new job, like you as an adult, you remember that first week at work in your brand new job? By Friday, you were absolutely knackered. Now, you may have been doing like a 9 till 5, a 9 till 6, something like that, so it's a long day for you. But a school day is a long day for a child. It's kind of the equivalent to a 9 till 6 day for us, because they're processing information a lot more than very often adults do. They've got a lot more to learn simultaneously. They're learning about social boundaries, they're learning about social cues, they're making friends, they're developing their personality, and they're having to take in the academic stuff that we're putting in at the same time. It's a huge, massive mission for them just to get through the day, and to have soaked up all of that stuff that they're able to soak up is absolutely phenomenal. And then they come home from that. It's the equivalent of you coming home from work at the end of your first week in a new job, where you are fried, your brain is frazzled, and then we say to them, do your homework. Yeah, so we can see why that doesn't go down too well sometimes. So maybe we need to think, rethink things. How are we going to get them re-energized and re-engaged after a long day at school, such that they're going to be inclined to do their homework and know that they've still got time left at the end of their day to do something that's fun and focus on themselves. Maybe we could shake the routine up a little bit here. Perhaps they could be coming home from school, having a snack, give them a bit of an energy boost, send them up to have a shower to freshen them up a bit. That is, if you haven't got a child who doesn't like the shower. And then make some kind of deal whereby there is a framework around the homework, or a time frame attached to that homework. You sit with them, you work together. Get them feeling as if they're not just in this lonely homework world by themselves, but you're there with them. They're much more likely to concentrate on that basis if they know that on the other side of that, then they've got the good fun stuff to go off and do afterwards. Then the chances of them being able to focus in that moment, knowing that they've got good stuff on the other side, is much greater. Now, you're going to have to play with this depending on the circumstances of your own family. You'll need to find the routine that works best for you, but there are ways forward, and there are ways that we can, from that practical angle, help children to increase and improve their concentration skills. One final thing that I want to mention around this is we can teach children things like memory skills. So there's some really simple memory skills exercises that are very effective for helping them to engage, very sensory based. So regardless of their sensory preference, then the memory skills will still be relevant to them. And if we build that into particular things that we are teaching or things that we want them to learn, then it's much more likely that not only will the information stick, but that they'll be engaged in the first place into tuning in and listening to what it is that we've got to say. So I hope that this has been a helpful video for all of my parents and professionals who are concerned about increasing concentration levels in young people. I have done a different style video today to the last one. The last one, actually, even I was bored watching it. That was me reading an article, and the auto cue kept going too fast. Now I've gone way faster than the auto cue could ever manage, but that's just the way I like to communicate. So let me know your thoughts. Feel free to add some comments underneath this video. If you have got some concentration skills tips that I haven't shared here, share them with everyone else in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and then hit that notifications bell so that you get notified each time there's a new video that comes along. One final thing, give the video a thumbs up, share it, let other people know that this was useful for you. It may just be useful for them too. Great to speak to you all today. I will catch you all on the next one. Bye for now.